keeping up with all the research for a paper can be a real challenge. Research Notes in PERRLA Online makes it easy to create, manage, and use your research effectively as you write. When I was in school, I would create notes with index cards for each reference I was going to use in a paper. Each note would include some text that I thought was particularly helpful, a line about which reference the note was in, and a citation for where I found that text. Research Notes in PERRLA Online are similar, except they're digital, which means they can't get lost or destroyed by the dog. Let's actually create some research notes so you can see what I mean. We can create research notes inside of a reference in the References module under the Research tab, or we can create them inside of our papers in the Research tab. It works the same way in both places. Since many of our students usually take notes on references while researching for an upcoming paper, let's take a look at the process there. In the Research tab inside a paper, we'll see a list of the references that we've added to that paper. For some of these references, I already have some research notes which I can expand to see by clicking Show Research Notes under the reference. But to create a new note for a reference, we'll click Add Research Note beneath the reference we want to create the note for. This will give us a place where we can type or paste in the text that we want for the note. For this note, I'm going to include a quote I thought was pretty interesting. And with the note's text in place, I can hit Enter on my keyboard to create the note. Now, in addition to the quote, I also want this note to keep up with where I found it inside of the reference. So I'm going to hover over the note and click Add Citation in the bottom right corner of the research note. Then I'll just add the page number and click Create. That's all there is to it. It's pretty simple. So here's a free pro tip. If you press Shift and Enter at the same time when creating a note, we'll create the initial note for you and automatically start another note as well. This makes it super easy to create notes back to back, and you can always add citations to each of the notes when you reach a stopping point. Okay, that's pretty cool and all, but research notes really begin to shine when we start to look at how we can use them while writing our paper. Let's go into the Outline tab in this paper to see research notes in action. Now, the Outline tab is where we can start to organize our ideas and research into a well-structured paper. Let's say that I want to add the quote we just made to my introduction to give it some more oomph. That's a technical word, by the way. I'll start by opening the Research Notes panel in the ribbon bar and then dragging and dropping the research note we made right into my outline. PERRLA will add the text of the note and insert the note citation into the outline for us without us having to copy text or make sure we added the citation correctly. It just works. And it saves us time and the headache of managing a whole stack of paper notes. But what if you're a bit of a daredevil and you don't want to make an outline for your paper? You just want to dive right into writing the body of your text. Well, we've got our Daredevil students covered as well. Just like in the outline editor, we can open the Research Notes panel in the paper editor to see all of the research notes for our paper's references. Each note is ready to be added into our text wherever we want. Okay, there's one last change we need to cover with research notes in this video. Before this update, research notes were limited to the paper where we created them. So that great quote I made, I wouldn't have had access to it in future papers where I'd use that same reference. Now, however, all of our research notes are automatically accessible in every paper where a reference appears. So that great quote, it'll be there waiting for me the next time I use that reference in the Research Notes tab. What this really means is that the more research notes I create for references in PERRLA, the more research I'll have at my fingertips when I reuse those references in future papers. And that's exactly what makes us so excited about the new Research Notes feature in PERRLA Online. It's a tool that becomes more and more helpful each time you use it. So, in this video, we looked at what research notes are and how you can make the most of them while writing. They're a built-in way to track and keep up with your research, not just for your current paper, but for any paper where you may need that reference in the future. If you've got any questions about this or anything else PERRLA related, we're here to help every day until 10 p.m. Central. You can always reach out to us via email at support@perrla.com and we'll get back to you quickly. So, thanks for watching and good researching.